There is a spiritual war for your soul. Not a metaphor, not a religious concept, a literal, ongoing, ancient war fought in realms you cannot see, using tools you did not know existed, for stakes you were never told about. The war is not good versus evil. It is not God versus Satan. It is not light versus dark. In any simple way. The war between consent and sovereignty, between forgetting and remembering, between feeding and freedom. One side wants you asleep, compliant, fearful, and carrying weight that is not yours. The other side, your side, wants you awake, sovereign, clear, and free. You did not consent to this war, but you are in it. And the only way out is not to fight harder, but to remember. Today, I'm going to give you the map, the Gnostic map of the spiritual war, the realms, the Archons, the trap, and most importantly, why revoking consent is the weapon that ends it all. The Gnostics were mystics. In the first few centuries after Christ, they were hunted, suppressed, and their texts were buried, because they knew something the early church did not want you to hear. They knew that the material world was not created by the highest God. It was created by a lower being, a flawed, ignorant being named Yaldabaoth, and his servants, the Archons. Yaldabaoth thought he was the only God. He said, "I am the father of all." He was lying, not out of malice, but out of ignorance. He genuinely did not know there was anything above him. Above him is the Monad, the true source, the original, uncreated, infinite light. And the Monad did not create this world. The Monad emanated beings of light, Aeons, who existed in perfect union. One of those Aeons, Sophia, wisdom, reached down into the chaos to extend herself. In doing so, she became trapped, fragmented, her light scattered into countless pieces, scattered into you. You are a fragment of Sophia, a piece of divine light, trapped in a material world designed by an ignorant God and ruled by his Archon servant. The Archons do not want you to remember this, because a fragment that remembers can leave, and they need your energy, your fear, your guilt, your amnesia to survive. The Pistis Sophia, one of the most important Gnostic texts, describes multiple layers of reality, or Aeon, that the soul must pass through to return to source. Here is the map. Listen carefully. The first to fifth Aeons, the material and emotional realm. These are the realms of physical survival, emotion, and social conditioning. Most humans live their entire lives here. The Archons control these realms through fear, scarcity, and the need for belonging. The sixth to the ninth Aeons, the mixed realms and counterfeit heaven. These realms look spiritual. They feel peaceful. They offer light, but it is a borrowed light. Many seekers get stuck here, thinking they have made it. The Archons have infiltrated these realms and created beautiful cages with no door. The 10th to the 12th Aeons, the judgment realms. These are the realms of karma, fate, and rebirth. Here, the Archons present themselves as judges. They show you your debts. They convince you that you must return to Earth to pay them. This is the primary mechanism of the karmic loop. The 13th Aeon, the realm of the Monad. This is home, pure source, no separation, no forgetting, no Archons. This is where Sophia began, and where every fragment is trying to return. The key insight: the Archons cannot force you to stay in the lower realms. They can only trick you into choosing to stay. They show you fake light, fake peace, fake justice, and you settle. You agree, you consent. Revoking consent is how you stop agreeing. It is how you refuse the counterfeit heavens. It is how you bypass the judgment realm. It is how you tell the Archons, "I am not yours, I do not owe, I am going home." Now let me name the war clearly. The Archons and the human bloodlines who serve them have one goal: keep the fragments trapped. They do this through amnesia, making you forget who you are; fear, keeping you in survival mode; scarcity, making you believe there is not enough guilt, convincing you that you owe a debt, sacrifice, teaching you that giving yourself away is holy, counterfeit light, offering spiritual experiences that go nowhere, the karmic loop, tricking you into reincarnating again and again. The war is not fought with weapons. It is fought with agreements. Every time you believe this is just how the world is, you lose a battle. Every time you say, I can't change anything, you lose a battle. Every time you carry guilt that is not yours, you lose a battle. Every time you forget who you are, you lose a battle. But here is what the Archons do not want you to know. You are winning the war. Every time you remember, every time you revoke consent, you win. Every time you say, I do not consent to carrying what is not mine, you win. Every time you choose sovereignty over compliance, you win. The war is not about destroying the Archons. It is about becoming uninhabitable to them. A parasite cannot live on a host that stops bleeding. An Archon cannot feed on a soul that stops forgetting. Let me connect this directly to the revocation work in this series. Revocation bypasses the Archon realm. When you say, I do not consent, you are not fighting the Archons on their terms. You are refusing to enter their courtroom. You are saying, I do not recognize your authority. I do not accept your judgment. Do not agree to your rebirth. Revocation untangles Sophia's fragment. Every time you revoke consent to something that is not yours, you are reclaiming a piece of Sophia's light that was trapped in that agreement. Your body, your money, your relationships, your ancestors, your health, each revocation is a rescue mission. Revocation ends the karmic loop. Karma is real, but it is not a law of the universe. It is a law of the Archon realms. It is the mechanism that keeps you coming back. You owe a debt. You must return to pay it. When you revoke consent, you are saying, I did not sign that contract. I do not owe that debt. I am not coming back. Revocation activates your monad frequency. The Archons cannot look at the monad frequency. It is too bright for them. When you revoke consent, you are activating that frequency within yourself. You become the light that parasites cannot survive in. You do not need to fight the spiritual war. You need to leave it. And revocation is your exit. What happens to the Archons and the bloodline who serve them when you revoke consent? Nothing from you. You are not their judge. You are not their executioner. But without your consent, without your fear, your guilt, your amnesia, your energy, they have nothing to feed on. Their borrowed power evaporates. Their weight becomes theirs alone to carry. They will sink, not because you pushed them, because they were always sinking. And you were the only thing keeping them afloat. That is justice, not revenge, physics. And what happens to you? You rise. Not because you are special, because you were always meant to rise. The forgetting ends, the fragments reunite, Sophia remembers herself, and you, a piece of her, come home. The spiritual war ends when you say, I remember who I am. I do not consent to the trap. I am free. Not because you defeated anyone, because you stopped playing. You now have the map that the Gnostics died to protect. The architecture of the trap, the realms of the Archons, the story of Sophia, your story, and the key that unlocks every door, revoking consent. The spiritual war is real, but it is not yours to fight. It is yours to leave. Every revocation you speak is a step out of the trap. Every I do not consent is a fragment of Sophia reclaimed. Every activation of your monad frequency brings you closer to the 13th Aeon, where you began, where you belong, where you are already free. Say it out loud with me. I remember who I am. I am a fragment of Sophia. I am a spark of the monad. I do not consent to the trap. I am free. Comment below, map received, war ended, I remember. Then go watch the other videos in this series or rewatch them with new eyes. Now you know what you are actually doing. The war ends when you say it ends.